Hi everyone, my name is Dévi and welcome to Book Connoisseur. We have Mother's Day coming up in the US, so I thought I would share some books around the theme of motherhood. I have been a mom for 2.5 years now, longer if you count my pregnancy. As you've probably heard, it's one of the most difficult and joyous seasons of life. So I have some books that I think will help cover those sort of juxtaposing feelings of motherhood for many people. This is probably tailored towards mothers. If you're curious about the motherhood experience or becoming a mother, these might resonate with you too. So the first 5 I'm going to share are books that I've already read. My number 1 book that I've talked about so much on this channel is Soldier Sailor by Kilroy. This book follows a mother in the throes of postpartum life. She's having difficulty communicating with her partner and they're just not on the same page, and he's maybe not stepping up to the plate in the way he needs to be. A lot of the emotions and confusion and feelings towards motherhood are beautifully captured in this book. Kilroy has a beautiful prose. It just blew me away. This was one of my favorite books I read in 2024, and I highly recommend it for anyone, regardless of your parental status. The next book I haven't talked about at all on this channel, and that is The Most by Jessica Anthony. It's a very short book. This book follows a mom who refuses to get out of the pool. It's the 1950s, so we're in the throes of the traditional marriage. You learn the backstory of the woman in the pool and her family and how they got there and what's going on in her life, and of course she is a mom. I believe this book was on a list for an award last year. I will pop the name of the award up at the top of the screen, but I just could not stop thinking about this book. It's one of those stories that has so many layers, and Jessica Anthony did such a great job of keeping them concise. This is a really important novel that doesn't get talked about enough, and this should really be getting more attention. The next book I listened to on audiobook, and that is Ordinary Human Failings by Megan Nolan. I've talked about this before on my channel. This is the story of an Irish family living in England, and when a small girl turns up deceased in this English town, everyone starts pointing the finger at this Irish family. And slowly you get to know each character in the family, and also this absolutely creepy journalist who's trying to get his foot in the door of this story. This was a really interesting book. This captured motherhood in a way that's often not depicted, and I don't think I've ever read a book where it's so clearly depicting this truly neglected child because she was not a wanted child. The undertones of this book are really the implications of what happens when women don't have choices over their own body. And I think that this is a really important story for our time. This should be a required reading for everyone who casts a vote. The next 2 books are books written from the perspective of a child to their mother. First one is directly a memoir, and the second one is based on the author's life. And the first one is On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Vuong. When I tell you this might be the best book I've ever read, I am not exaggerating. Vuong is a poet. He has the most beautiful prose, and he framed this whole book as a letter to his mother. His mother, his grandmother, and he were Vietnamese refugees, and they ended up in Hartford, Connecticut. And this is about him growing up. He deals with the difficulties of being an immigrant, along with the complications of his mother's PTSD from the Vietnamese War. And the thing I love the most about this book is that his beautiful prose is juxtaposed against these absolutely horrific things that happened to his family during their lives. It was just so compelling, I could not put it down. And the last book I have read on this list is Shuggie, Bain by Douglas Stuart. This book is based on Douglas Stuart's life growing up in Glasgow. He was raised by a single alcoholic mother, and that's pretty much all you need to know. What Douglas Stuart did so well is he captured the innocence of a child loving a problematic mother. And I think that can be really hard to do, especially in hindsight when you see the things his mother did to him or some of the situations he was left in. One could be filled with such resentment for their parent in that situation. The way he portrayed Shuggie was the true innocence of a child. This is a long book, but I think it's really worth the read. You might already know, I'm not sure if you've watched previous videos where I've mentioned it, but I am an artist and I have an art studio practice, and right now I'm working on pieces about motherhood and my experience as a mother. And so for that work, I came up with a list of books I wanted to read about motherhood, and I thought I would share those too. I'm planning to read these all in the next year or so while I'm still working on my collection of works about motherhood. So the first one's a little bit different because it is Motherhood by Sheila, Heti, and you've probably heard about this book. I'm pretty sure this is Lena Norm's favorite book ever, but it's about choosing not to be a mother in a society that pressures you to be a mother. And I think that's something that I really want to explore. It's important to understand perspectives different than your own. This was a no-brainer for putting on this list. The next book is A Life's Work by Rachel Cusk. This is about Rachel Cusk reclaiming her identity after becoming a mother. I think that I'll really identify with this because this is where I find myself to be positioned a little bit. I love being a mom, but I do miss my old self too, and that is something that I'm interested in hearing about in other people's experiences. The next book is Matrescence by Lucy Jones on the metamorphosis of pregnancy, childbirth, and motherhood. This was on the Women's Prize for Nonfiction Longlist 2024, and I have even gifted a copy of this to a friend because I knew she would love it, but I've only read bits and pieces, so I'd like to sit down and really read through the whole thing. And this is obviously more about your body and how that changes and the things that go on biologically during pregnancy and after. Along those same lines, I'm planning to read Eve by Cat Bohannon. I still don't have a copy of this. It recently came out on paperback, so I'm hoping to get one soon. This book was also on the Women's Prize for Nonfiction Longlist 2024. I can't remember if either of these books were shortlisted, but Eve is about the evolution of the female body, and I think that that's extremely relevant to motherhood. And I don't want to say this without reading the book, but I'm pretty sure that every woman, anyone who identifies as a woman, would probably enjoy it. The next book is The Lost Daughter by Elena Ferrante. This book is a short story about a mother who has lost touch with her daughter, and she's on vacation alone and the things that happen there. You might have seen the movie with Olivia Colman. I have seen the movie, and I think that I really would like to read this book. I've never actually read an Elena Ferrante. I'm planning to read her Neapolitan Quartet this year too, but I figured this was a good place to start, and it's very relevant to motherhood as well. And the last book on this list is Nightbitch by Rachel Yoder. This has also been turned into a movie. This book is about a woman postpartum. She's also an artist, like me, thinks she's turning into a dog. Even like that premise sounds insane, but like I really understand that like combination of like lack of sleep, lack of time, lack of identity, it all gets wrapped up, and you can imagine how someone might have this sort of delusion in that space. And I'm really interested in reading this too. Those are all of my books with themes of motherhood that I recommend for you. I am curious, are there any books you think I'm missing on this list? What's your favorite book about motherhood with a theme of motherhood, even by a mother that might somehow influence their writing? This is a topic that will never get old for me now. I'd love to discuss it with you in the comments. That is all. I hope you subscribe for some more and like this video if it resonates with you, and I'll be back soon with another video. Bye!